Hello there, YouTube. This is Sibbles and Bits back at it again with another Inkbound Daily. Today is the solo daily for October 2nd, and today we will be playing Magma Miner, going from... oh geez. It's Silent Promenade into, I believe, Garden's Edge, and then up against Argoloth. So, some things to note is that we have Spicy Foes, which is... normally during the boss fight, you don't have to worry about spicy foes, but versus Argoloth in particular, you kind of do. But spicy foes, as we've demonstrated in the past, will also open up new opportunities. Any on-hit vestiges suddenly become much better because we know that they're going to activate. We want shielding on hit on leap, but we normally want that anyways. But if we have like a spike line, that's incredibly good with spicy foes. Otherwise, we pretty much just have to try and make sure that by the end of the game, we figure out a way to mitigate the damage that we're going to take during the Argoloth tentacles, as well as the damage from the Argoloth tentacles themselves. And if we can do that, we pretty much win, because throughout the game we have access to healing, more than enough healing, and so we don't have to worry about that. We also have Wolos, so all this spicy foe shenanigans is actually going to give us like a ton of damage. And that's also especially good because all of the common vestiges that are like on hit, which is Burnital Gloves or Bramble Dolos to inflict bleed on enemies, obviously, having more ability power makes them deal more damage. And we can apply quite a bit of that. So, it's greatly appreciated. And then, of course, at the bottom, we have all vestiges offered at shops are legendary, plus 50% quillings, and more likely to see quilling draft options. With the change to bosses, right, them giving like slightly more quillings, I actually think that with 50% quillings, we may be able to actually afford a legendary from the first shop, assuming that we don't buy anything else, right? Um, yeah, what I'm trying to say is I think that we can actually afford that without any extra. Now, obviously, we're also looking at Magma Miner. We got stuff like Excavate, Demolish, Mine, which is ways for us to get even more quillings. Obviously, this is a huge boon to those things, and then we have a whole ton of money. But other than that, I don't know. We're just going to see how it goes. If we have Quillian plates here, I'm going to be very happy. Don't know what I expected. If we get that... the problem is that if we get shielding on hit... so, in dailies, we don't have a lot of opportunities to get green Augs, and green Augs are the most competitive augments, in my opinion, especially in dailies, because there's not a lot of them. Generally speaking, there's only 2 white Augs, same thing in like tier 20. You normally don't care about that. That's where you grab like whatever's going to help you at the start of the game. Maybe they have infrastructure like further wider or like increased AoE, and you appreciate that. But I honestly don't know where the frick I was going. My apologies. Um, so we need shielding on hit, hopefully to offset spicy foes. And so Quillian Plates is great because it gives us access to that spikes damage, and then of course that applies to pretty much anything that we hit for free at that point. Dial of Fate doesn't really help us. We obviously, again, can go into that spike damage line, get some crit damage, but if we're dealing crit damage, then it's just weird. Obviously, if we get good chunky crits, we can just go ahead and one-shot things, and then we don't have to worry about spicy foes as much, but it's kind of a big ask. What do we got here? We got Ink Needle Compass talking about that crit line. Otherwise, Braced Belt helps us on turn 1. And so we have to sit here and think about what is going to help us in fight 1. What's going to help us deal 600 damage. I would really like to see... what the frick? That's like the up tier of the century. That actually solves a lot of problems for us. But it does nothing for our fight 1. Especially if we don't have access to like obviously we don't have braided acacia or anything like that, but I was hoping for burn on leap because that is one of the ways that we would be able to handle the situation. Otherwise, shielding leap, like, it's one step towards where we need to be. Shielding leap is not exclusive, so we can actually grab 2 shielding leaps, -1 cooldown, and then at that point, we're actually gaining shields whenever we hit something. It's really weird, though. So the question is do we sack fight 1? Because let me be perfectly honest with you, none of this other stuff is going to help us. This is notable. We could leap on stuff. Let's just say that we do an amount of damage. Let's say we hit 4 people, right? Let's just go ahead and say, like, best possible scenario. We hit 4 people. We now have access to 4 ability power due to heat. And then we go ahead and maybe we bonk something, bonk stuff. Let's assume that we're going all the way up to the top here. So 35 bonk. Let's assume that this takes care of like the smalls, which it wouldn't, but so all of a sudden this will kill everything. And then we go ahead and we smash the main enemy, which at that point, let's just say that we have 7 ability power. So then this is going to be increased by 70%, which is almost, like, let's just say that it's 1/3. An extra 100 damage. So then we're going to do 250. Something's going to have 5 stacks of burn. At that point, we're going to have 8 ability power. So then we look at 18 per stack times 5. I don't know why I'm struggling with math. Must have been a day at work. 90 damage. So that's 250, 90 damage. That's 340, not counting the fact that we leapt on something. That is still nowhere close. We pretty much need a crit on smash in order to get what we need. Otherwise, this is technically our best chance at actually securing fight 1. And I still think that we take this braced belt. The ink needle compass is definitely interesting. Start our tilt towards crit. Go into a crit miner build. I guess one thing about trying to over shield on leaping strike is it kind of makes Wolos useless, theoretically speaking. This isn't really going to help us. Like, if I was to take Elusive Whisper, it would probably just be Ink Needle Compass. I think we're going to take the Braced Belt. And we're going to take the shielding, knowing perfectly well this is not going to help us in fight 1. And then we'll go to Silent Promenade. I would love... That's a barrier potion. Still kind of helps. Do I want to go to a Tarnish Vault for another chance at, like, say, Bramble Dolos? Like, the fact that this is worth 80 Quillings plus 50% means that this is worth 120 Quillings. We're technically trying to get to 400 by the time that we reach the end shop. I just don't know how we do that without clicking this button. But that might be appropriate. I still think we gotta take it. If anything for safety, oh my good lord. Oh, hold up. Ah, they didn't fix this bug. Okay, I'm glad we did this. I remember last time we had Store of Legend, we found out that this bonus quillings does not affect. So we're actually... I'm glad that I took this route. We don't get to buy any... we do not get to buy any legendaries unless we find a way to actually make money. Okay, this is actually probably one of the tamest of these that I've seen. I still don't know how we're going to do this, but we should at least be fine. Yeah, we're not beating this because even in that made-up scenario, we were having difficulties getting over to 400 damage, and we've got to do that now to 2 people that are on opposite sides of the screen. Like, we can't even bonk these guys, so that's not happening. So we should at least worry about getting one of you guys, and I don't mind if I get some breakage and deal damage to myself, which probably shouldn't happen because of how much shielding we have, but you have the most health, so I'm going to blap you. And I actually want to take this damage. Yeah. Try and queue up everyone around here. Didn't quite work. That's unfortunate. Should hopefully be able to at least... Yes. Blap, blap, power orb, blap. Okay, we at least got 2 turns. I'm willing to accept that. And we've set ourselves up with ability power so that we're looking pretty good. I am willing to take critical chance here as opposed to hoping that we get into a spike damage line. Although I suppose, so here's the idea. We take this spike damage line, and worst case scenario, we get a white crit chance. I mean, crit damage would probably be the worst, but... So, I guess in this situation, it's better to make sure that we go for the spike line and gain something for crit. And so, as we were saying before, I would really like to have Scorching Leap because it's a good single target opportunity. But the way that we're going now, I think instead what we might want is Bolstered Bonk or Strengthened Smash. Strengthened Smash is just to make it so that we want to press that button. Like, again, now that it's 150 instead of 120, it's okay. Like, I don't mind pressing the button. I would just really like to feel good about pressing that button. Like, have it feel like it's worth 2 cost, if that makes any sense. Otherwise, I would honestly just prefer to keep using Bolster Bonk. But the problem is that that's not very conducive to spicy foes. Doesn't really work out for us. But it is a heck of a ton of damage, which I appreciate. Yeah, 66 is a good breakpoint, I believe. I haven't ran the breakpoints recently. I think with enemy health going down, it's pretty good. As far as like the mid patch that we got, put them up 20%, then they were reduced back down to 10%. I believe that 66 is pretty good. I think Strength and Smash is honestly what we want here, though. We want something that can deal good single target, because we would prefer to not bonk them multiple times. And the recent balance of giving Smash another 30 points of damage helped a lot in that regard. Plus, we have Spicy Foes, which is obviously a completely different scenario. Smash into Lightning Bolt is great AoE, takes care of a lot of enemies that we now don't have to hit. Jinx is good single target, which is good for solving bosses, because if we're going to try and put another shield on Leap or cooldown on Leap, that's not really going to do anything because we didn't get the Burning Leap at the first augment. So, and what are we going up against? We're going up against Nim. Well, I mean, here we're obviously going up against Rinferno. I think this is Jinx, especially for getting some crit. Like, that's insane. I could still see Lightning Bolt too, but man, I just really don't like Smash. But it is a line. It will do what we need it to do. It just doesn't add anything to our single target damage besides like this 75 right here. That's all that does. Whereas Jinx just solves, you guys have seen it, it just solves faces. Tethered Shrine for stats seems very appealing right now. Hovel for a green also seems incredibly appealing. I would almost even be willing to re-roll this. Crimson Quillfish for this fight coming up? Sure, why not? Cheese cards. That's money. It's a little bit of crit. Or do we just grab another ounce of damage? We kind of lost all of our life for that. I think it's cheese cards. It'll do enough for us. Let's go ahead, go to the Superior Vault. Don't you run to... Boy. Well, I mean, at least that's a solution there. Get rid of these little ankle biters here. Yeah, I think we can deal with this. I'll be perfectly honest. I'm feeling pretty good about this here. I'm pretty sure this fight is going to be another Figment. I frickin' missed you. God. Yeah. Another Figment, a bunch of bits, and now I got to figure out how we're going to deal with that. The fact that I missed that bit right there, I think that's the one, really kind of scuffed this whole plan. Let's get rid of these guys. Power Orb. Flap. Then I think we're actually headed over here. I get to hit you 3 times. Do I use a Disintegration Potion? Because next turn, I gotta kill you in a bunch of bits again. We will not have access to Jinx, because I kind of scuffed that. To be fair, you guys aren't standing next to each other, so I don't think that that really made much of a difference. I think I actually do. That's unfortunate. I would like them to surround me over hither. Another Figment. Okay, never mind. It's a screw you, you're taking a penalty. Unless we can somehow figure out a way to defeat one of you in only 4 power? Seems a little unorthodox. Yeah, this isn't happening. I don't think that was a Jinx issue either. It's just, you know, spawning a Figment here. Unless there was a way for me to actually... It's hard to tell since we actually... I guess I lost a will on that one Bombit that we failed to kill with Jinx. So yeah, I guess so. That guy could have been dead. He cost us a will. I still don't know how that solves this, though. This will easily kill you. And so then we would have 2 will to kill this man here. There is a crit. Yeah, I just don't know. Because we're using this whole turn to not kill you. That's something. It is a on-hit effect that gives us damage. I'm actually quite happy about that. Here we're going to grab more crit chance. It gave us some frostbite damage. No, that's from this. Gave us some poison damage. Why would you do this to me? Okay, shielding leap it is. It's possible that I was supposed to re-roll that to try to get the negative cooldown, which would have done quite a bit for us. Here we might go... Like, the problem is if we go Cone of Frost, we're just going to hit ourselves. It's probably just Incendiary. Incendiary is always good. It's good single targets. If we have enough ability power, it's enough to just, like, kill smalls, which is what we need it for as well. So the question is how do we get past this without dying? We have cheese cards. Do we trust in that enough? Reducing all of our cooldowns by an additional 1 seems pretty good. Predator's Quintessence seems really good. We're looking at a crit build, so Baylor's Tongue also seems pretty good. We haven't spent any money. Correct. We got our money pot. Bosses have been buffed. So the question is do we believe enough in cheese cards to make up 150? That was also a pretty juiced node 1. We took an NPC in Promenade, so we didn't get any extra quillings from that. These are all pretty good. Especially this CDR. That CDR is pretty big. Makes it so that we can use Incendiary every turn, I believe. Yeah. You know what? Let's roll. Otherwise, again, I honestly don't know how we're going to kill it for Inferno. Like, the 11 ability power in combination with, well, just Wolos, really, at this point. Or we do this, which is better. Kind of like that. Alright. So I'm pretty sure... 3. How much do we gain? 2 shielding. So we do have to leap once. I think we're alright with that. We don't lose too much damage versus Bonk. Trying to preserve as much health as possible. That might be my folly here. And that's mainly because... Well, I'll be perfectly honest with you. This seems pretty good too. Okay. I guess we could pick this up. Probably should have ordered that a little bit better. Okay. He's going to hit us, which means that he's going to gain some frostbite stacks, which we want. Our AoE isn't large enough to hit all of these Mother Hubbards, so we're probably going to have to take 1 damage here. Which I believe is fine. We need to remember that you have Swivel. we go. That's still looking a bit spicy, but we still have Jinx, Hopium. We're fine to get hit here. Let's actually move as close to you as possible. Okay. Get a little bit of shielding here. I honestly don't know what else we could possibly do. We kind of want to get hit, which is going to put us in very spicy territory. Do we use our potion here? Possibly. Like, that's actually probably the case. We're flying pretty close to the sun here. It's now dealing 1200. It's pretty much enough to get you. Not counting the fact that we're going to defeat 2 more enemies the next turn. We're about to lose a ton of health. Leave this here for next turn. Yeah, we need to preserve this health. Are we able to preserve this health over here? That's even better, actually. Why do you guys do this? We are fine. One. Jinx. Power Orb. Leap. We're in trouble. We're fine here. We hit you with Incendiary. We come down here. We still have enough to move here. We're still fine. That's what we gotta do. Or I just hit you with this and stop playing around. Okay. Flash fire. I don't like how these increase our cooldown, but with Clepsydranium, it might be the ticket. Especially Flash Fire doubling the stacks of burn. We can take the, if it crits, it adds more, and then all of a sudden that gets out of control. This makes it a single target, which kind of eliminates the whole idea of let's try and use this to also crowd control. I guess these are both single target. I don't know what I was thinking. I could have swore one of you guys used to be AoE. Maybe I'm crazy. I'm not liking either of these then. Like, I suppose Wildfire is technically AoE. We go ahead, we plant Wildfire on somebody, maybe smash them. All of a sudden, everything's burning, but then we need to make sure that we have enough shielding to actually, like, survive everybody. If anything, I think it's Flash Fire. But again, that's kind of bad for us. Am I willing to take a glyph node in book 2? Sure, why not? This is much better. I don't think it's mine, although mine could theoretically make sure that we don't lose due to Krellings after we bought a 400. That's interesting. Also gives us a chance for an orb. I kind of want to say that it's thwack, but I think that I kind of dug myself in a hole, and I have to mine my way out. Whack-a-bonk is interesting because it guarantees that we're able to mine. Good single target. Only issue I have with Whack-a-bonk is that, well, we have spicy foes. If we get Hammer of the Broken Rail, and suddenly we gain shielding on crit, that feels a lot better. Critical Leap feels nice, except for the fact that this needs -1 CDR. That's kind of our defensive strategy for the end of the game. Discounted Smash is also, like... Discounted Smash makes this a very damn good button. Honestly might be that. Let's see then. We get this every other turn then. If I can somehow reduce the cooldown, which is a green that we don't have access to anymore. Or a second Clepsydranium. A second Clepsydranium would surely be madness. Yeah, I don't know. Think we're gonna take Discounted Smash? It just makes it so much better for us to use that button.
Hello, young Quill.
I understand that I'm almost dead, but I'm highly debating this Restore 50. Because we still really don't have damage. Technically, with Clepsydranium and the free Frostbite stacks, we're dealing 60 every hit thereafter we hit an enemy. We don't have to worry about running out of Frostbite stacks because they're constantly hitting us back with spicy foes. We do have the double shielding. I think we're fine. I'm looking at this. I'm not impressed. Burn damage actually is very good. The burn damage is what's making me consider not taking 6 health here, because that 6 health allows us to get past the first 2 fights, assuming that we take no damage, which we're not necessarily the best at doing. It could also very well be that we do heal anyways, and then just take this burn damage because it's damage that we can obviously easily apply. I think that that's not the right play, though, because we're currently getting like 13 ability power off of Wolos. But I'm trying to consider, like, do we even live? If do we honestly live against most, what book is this? It's Radiant Market. Holy Lord. Pens, ink blotters. We probably don't live, to be honest. Enemies here hate bunching up, so the odds of us actually getting value out of our double shielded leap without a cooldown reduction is honestly very low. And we're not going to be able to see another green until we go to a binding empowerment. We need to... Like, I don't know how we're going to handle the... What am I trying to call it? The ninjas. I don't know what they're called. I don't know how we handle those enemies if they show up on the last turn. Especially with us... like removing all of our damage. It's going to be rough. I'll honestly... I'll take the glyph reward now. If we get that binding empowerment right away, we're going to want to be able to re-roll it a couple of times. Because it's kind of imperative that we get that negative cooldown. And on top of that, we have 5 bindings now. One of these aren't locked out. We could lock one of them out. If we get Smash 120, I would really appreciate that. What the frick is going on here? Magic Pixel exists at least. That's very appreciated. Also 2 Proxy Cheese cards. Incendiary is unfortunately just lower than the rest of that, and Jinx is even smaller. No mine. Do I hit you with this? Yeah, our complete lack of damage is making this kind of terrible. These guys are likely not going to put themselves in a location that favors me. Kind of need to start on you, though. This just feels bad. Yeah, I think that... well, we'll see how much damage we take, but I think that healing was not the right move there. Because now we're stuck with literally no damage. I think I want to... What is this doing? Not a lot. Yeah, we have 0 damage. We also haven't killed anything, to be fair, but... still doesn't mean that things are looking good for us. Our bonk is looking ridiculously low. Yeah, I don't think that we were meant to heal there. Unfortunate. There's an orb. I would like to see this with its cooldown reduced. Swoop. Like, by the end of this, we're probably going to take so much damage that it was correct to heal. Is this going to just... I think we might need to deal with you for another turn and just hit this guy right here. We're taking a lot of damage, though. Holy lord. Yeah, I think we need to take care of you guys, because you're not going to bunch up. There's just no way. And we hope that they bunch up enough. That's terrible. That actually doesn't look terrible. There's definitely no way, though. Trying to tell me that Magic Pixel doesn't exist here? You're very rude. Yeah, I think we totally would have died had we not healed. Safe to say. This will at least kill next turn. You're going to burn next turn. And we wasted 2... Well, this turn. Yeah, we totally misplayed that. So, if we took so much damage that healing would have killed us, that means that we allowed too much damage during the Nim fight? Because that's like, what, a 2 turn? Only 1 turn. At least we got that going for us. We're still alive. At this point, we just have to hope to out-survive everybody else, which is not the situation you want to be in. I'll honestly take this crit I'm hoping that that's our avenue later on. Okay, so I like Prepared Incendiary, especially since we can use it every turn. I also like Extracting Smash, because that locks out Smash, so that we are more likely to get cooldown on Leap. Once we get cooldown on Leap, our health situation is fixed. And if we would have been able to get that probably earlier, would have been a much different run, because then we could have left our health that low and then just healed ourselves with the stat shrines. Holy. Dead Sleep is also, like, obviously looks pretty good. But again, we kind of already put 2 shields on this. If it was shield cooldown, then I would feel pretty good about Dead Sleep here, because it's a skill that we're then going to spam a lot. Extracting Smash it is, though. That, or if our... No, there's no longer a legendary that increases the amount of cooldowns that you get from orbs, yeah? Hold up. Comet actually goes into the damage that we have. Crater would be interesting because it allows us to get the heat procs more often. But Comet adding more burn is probably the route that we're supposed to take here. We got a little bit of burn damage. We've got magic damage. Yeah, this is probably the correct move here. I'm fine with that. We need this binding empowerment. And we're just going to grab the green. But... yeah, baby. Beautiful. -1 cooldown on Incendiary also would have been, like, pretty good. Anyways. What do we do now? We have more than enough glyphs. In fact, we have 1 extra glyph. But, well, we'll have 3 if we kill this money pot. The question is are we going to make enough money? That's kind of a big question. There was a magic pixel there. I want it. Do I want that? Like, the thing that I'm thinking of is if I leap over here... I think that is this. I think it's this. Bonk bonk. No. Bonk bonk. Orbs? I'd love to. Thank you. Excuse me? Go ahead, take that. Leap. Okay. That is quite misfortunate. If I hit you, that does not look good. Let's go ahead and hit you with a disintegrate. That gets close. Okay, after a little bit of this, that should do it. Or, not sure I want to do the math. That probably won't do it. Kind of a situation here. It's not like these guys are a threat, but let's make sure we get you. And then we just need to really bonk one of you guys. Okay, you did damage. See if I care. This would have been a great time for, you know, having Jinx. Thank you for the orb. Blap. Gotta start remembering that I have extracting orb. That's not damage. Okay, well here's our spikes finally. Is this too little too late? Helps our turn 1. We'll have 20 spikes turn 1, 10 spikes turn 2, 5 spikes turn 3. Honestly, it's something. I don't think that we're in a position to gamble for anything else. A little bit more spike damage will give us some crit stats. We got crit chance. We like to see it. Prepared Incendiary is a little important to us, but Whack-a-Bonk, I think at this point where we have too much shielding, Whack-a-Bonk's perfect. It's not necessarily too much shielding, actually. Those chompies with Rampager definitely shot through our shields. Preserving Jinx is good for Argoloth, actually. It might be that. Okay, we can't afford to shop. We have barely enough. We actually may not even have enough, to be perfectly honest. It really depends on how well we roll on that boss and everything else. Blue Spine Cod is great. I like having extra will. Mercurial is another great find. And there's really no destructibles here. I've been robbed. I'll be honest, I might just take more spike damage. This is starting to look appetizing, though. Even more crit damage. Probably should have just taken the 4% crit chance at that point. Okay. With Comet. Our spikes, of course. Okay. I was like, how in the heck is this happening? I'm about to report myself for cheating. Anyways, I think we want to drop this. Mine. That does an amount of damage. Otherwise, we're honestly fine. Thank you for the orb. So then we're probably... It's honestly probably just more burn. This is the problem we're going to run into, right? Is we have absolutely no single target. Thankfully, that's not important for Argloth, because when enemies hit us and we hit them back with spikes, that's what we're looking for. Something tells me there's needles at the end of this legendary quest. Boop. Are you sure you want to hit me like that? Okay. This is still pretty good. We should be able to shield most of this. Like, we're going to take some damage, but it's fine. Incendiary smash? He'll get close. Okay. Seems good to me. We now no longer have a hecaton of spike damage, so we're not one-shotting things anymore. This is a concern. What is this at? Not looking good at all. Okay. This is what we're going to do. I'm going to grab this. Probably leap over hither. Orbs. We'd like to see it. Okay. We're going to get pretty close. We're good. Hoy! Okay. What did I tell you? Needles. I think needles is more important to us than prime Mesentium, because we've pretty much solved our damage. We just need to get more spikes, and that is an inordinate amount of spikes. Fueling Incendiary, giving 25% more damage to enemies that we inflict burn with. We inflict burn with Leap. They then hit us. We spike them back. Huge damage boost. What is this? Detonate. I hate it. It gives us an option for Argloth on a turn where we might not have anything. Like, I guess what we could theoretically do is just repeatedly leap on Argloth, don't do anything to the tentacles, and then eventually detonate, but I don't know. We didn't get plus 120, which double dips into here. We also don't really deal a lot of burn, to be honest. This would have been the argument to take the double stacks of Incendiary. Tantrum is definitely no. I don't know. Is Detonate really that bad? Like, kinda. It's not worse than letting our burn run out on Argoloth. I guess we could skip. Maybe get Dread Harvest, get a little bit more damage into there. I really don't want anything on Incendiary. We can only reroll once. We could always just skip if it's that bad. Otherwise, what other purples would we want? More burn damage? More damage with Jinx? We're just kind of in a way here. We're also gambling on exactly one Destructible being on the Elite fight. That's terrifying. Or I guess we just need a crit once, right? That should happen. We're going to reroll. Yeah. I think we're going to reroll. None of this is what I wanted. But this is more damage for stacks of Dread. We get 3 stacks of Dread, start with 2 stacks of Dread. Honestly, it's not that bad. And if we get damage per stacks of Dread, as our last purple, it's pretty good. I'm not sure how to feel about this run at all. Not sure how to feel about this heal at all either. We really don't have a source of healing. Do we just drop Willows? Drop Willows here, heal up, hope that our spike damage is actually enough to carry us? Because we've got no damage otherwise. It'd just be an inordinate amount of spikes. Oh god, this doesn't make it feel any better either. We could heal here. If we heal here, then we will maybe survive the next fight. Heal up, drop Willows, because the spikes will 100% be enough for Argoloth. I'm feeling better about that. And then I'm debating if Blue Spine Cod is what we want to do here, because we might need more help during this fight. Otherwise, we get 1 additional Will Reserve for the final fight. Makes it so that we can cast Bewitch whenever it's up. We feel good about casting Incendiary. We can always use Mercurial Elixir, I guess. Go for like a double Bewitch. Oh, look. And a healing. I like that. Thank you. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. Tuning stones. The ink in a box isn't really that dangerous for us. You're really gonna frickin' be like this, huh? Hmm? If that can kill, I kind of want that for next turn. This just about kills you. I kind of want to do that. Bonk bonk. Bonk bonk toss. Yeah. Okay. And you are toasted. Now we need to watch our health these other 2 turns of this fight. Bonk. Bleep bleep. Because leap breaks us even. Yeah. Seeming about right. I also said that I saved this specifically for that man and then just walked away. That seems good. Let's leap. Orb, leap. That gives us more than enough shielding. Toss that. We actually took no damage there. I'm feeling pretty good. Of course, like a large majority of that is Wolos giving us like a ridiculous amount of damage. I really don't like these, but we have to choose one of them. Paradigm Shift. We technically make orbs? I don't know, man. Controlled explosives. It's something. Like, we don't really do chunky hit damage. Like, I guess it allows us to take Bewitch and then put it onto, like, something like, say, Leap. It's probably Dice of Fates here of those options, which is kind of garbo. I will take Lethal Jinx over nothing. Combusting Incendiary seems pretty good. Especially if we're going to just, like, focus up Argoloth. But, theoretically speaking, our spikes are going to be, like, so ridiculously high that everything's just going to kill itself against us. That's the hope, at least. So I don't think that burn damage versus Arg is going to do anything. I kind of want something that helps us deal damage. Which sounds like a bit of a, like, me walking around in circles now that I think about it. I really don't care which of these we get. We use all status effects besides poison. So give me a greater chance for critting, please. And we got a little bit more frostbite damage. Cool. Actually, we don't use frostbite damage because of how that works. Huh. Funny. Anyways, take Dice of Fates. It's free. Heal. And we'll see how this goes. Shout out to all the homies who didn't realize or didn't know that Store of Legend is bugged and doesn't give you more Quillings and bought more than one legendary. Or re-rolled for Demolish. Which I suppose wouldn't have been a bad move. Anyways, we kind of want to be as low as possible because we're probably going to... Well, I guess we just leap on them anyways, but... We can hit 3 tentacles down here and Argoloth, which is kind of the most hits, gives us the most spikes. We can't do that really up here because that's like our hit, and maybe I'm wrong? Yeah. If we don't have, what is it? The one that gives us heat? I think it's not Crater. This is Crater, right? No, this is Comet. If you have Crater, you can make that hit. Otherwise, we got to farm spikes down here. And we kind of got to be a little bit cautious about it. I guess we might as well... Okay, hold up. Why do we have damage? We don't have damage. We have spikes. My bad. Do I honestly just, like, nuke you guys? Nuke you up here? No. We're full blocked. This is actually exactly where we want to be. Yes. Let's remember to eat our fish. Okay, so now these tentacles down here we can leap on. Obviously, we're not going to make as much as if we were leaping on Argoloth as well, but it's our best move. So we're going to do it. Take that. Leap. You're still not done, which is rude, by the way. I think we take our Mercurial. Just, we kind of actually don't want to defeat you guys. We want to make sure that we're full blocked though, so I guess we kind of do want to hit you guys. We want to hit you, sucker. put us close to this orb. You're still not being phased. That's a little rude, my man. That is a little rude. Maybe we hit you here? How much damage are y'all doing? 2, 2, total of 6. We can afford to hit you with a Jinx. And now you're phasing. That's what we want. Now you're dealing 6? Rude. You're doing Petrifying Gaze, so we won't be able to move. You're doing a swipe attack, only you're gonna hit me. This is indeed very spicy. Never mind, we're fine. And we're just gonna farm more burning stuff on you. I guess actually we kind of want to do this. No orbs. Leap again. Leap again. There should be more tentacles down here after this turn. We are kind of counting on it. Now we're taking 5 damage, excuse me. Why am I taking... Hold up. Oh, because we're technically not in his AoE here? Okay. I'm not going to trust the game, and I'm going to stand right here, where I know that I'm safe. And I'm obviously going to bonk you. Another crit's nice, thank you. What have you got me? A little bit. Hold up. I think we want to hit you with this. You're taking half damage from it. Actually, we kind of want you to hit us when we have spikes. Which, to be fair, we also want you to hit us while we have spikes. But I don't know if we're going to produce enough shields to be able to... I took 1 damage. Oh, that's right, because phase 2, they do frickin' +1 damage. God, I hate that. Every single time. Anyways. This should do a lot of our heavy lifting. Add some more burn because reasons, and we did it. We took 1 damage. Because I forgot about... Actually, no. Like, why are you dealing that much damage through... Did we take that much earlier? No, it's definitely you. You're dealing 2 damage. That still shouldn't have damaged us through our shields, because we gained 2 per turn. I don't know, maybe I'm not understanding what's going on here, but still a little perturbed about that. Anyways, so we had the 2 turn losses, and we lost HP. Was HP really worth that much? Like, that's 500, I know that. What the frick? We lost 2 turns to a hard fight? Oh, I think that is the case. Yes, it was all the pens. Okay. Okay, so I did worse than I thought. Otherwise, I think we handled that pretty well. Argoloth was mostly perfect, except for that one. I gotta remember that, or they gotta fix that bug. That does, honestly, I should have known better. Anyways, we bought a legendary and lived to tell the tale, which is always great. Yeah. I just don't know how I would have gone about that pen fight. The turn one doesn't really bother me, or the fight one doesn't bother me because again, I honestly don't know what I could have done. But the pen fight, there had to have been a better way to handle that. Oh no. There was the pen fight we lost a turn, and then there was also the in Promenade. There was the one where they spawned a, what are they called? A figment on the last turn. And we may have used our jinx too early. Okay. So it was 2 fights. 2 fights that we mismanaged. I feel a little bit better. Like I really thought that we screwed up the pen fight that badly. Anyways, hopefully the run was educational or at least entertaining. If you have any feedback whatsoever, be it questions, comments, concerns, misplay alerts, be sure to leave that down below. And until next time, we will catch you guys around.